ASAP strikes again.
He couldn't wait a little bit till after the Super Bowl.
Dang, man, you can't let her get a performance off. We've been waiting 5 years. Come on. Gee. But also, I understand. Anyways, we're back. It's your boy G with Alec. Another great episode here. We're trying to cut things down. We want to have more concise conversations for you guys as we get more into the NFL offseason and going into the NBA things as we get more into that as well. So
right.
we want to have a quick conversation about Mahomes celebrating his greatness as he went on to win the Super Bowl versus the Eagles last weekend. Definitely a very impressive performance by him and that whole Chiefs team. We might talk about Juju in that as well. I've seen this controversy with him, but just want to celebrate him and just want to celebrate Pat and discuss his greatness with that.
Absolutely.
Also, on the flip side, talk about the rise we've seen of Jalen Hurts, how he may potentially have now cemented himself as an elite QB, and then we'll go from there. So, a couple good things we'll jump into today that we're excited to talk about, reacting to the Super Bowl. Thank y'all for tuning back in. Follow us online everywhere, IG, TikTok, Section.300, Twitter, Section of the Sports. Subscribe to the show. Follow us wherever you follow us. Appreciate all the love. And yeah, I'm excited to get into it, y'all. Let's do it. I wanted to believe, man. I really did. We talked about it before the Super Bowl happened. I wanted to believe that the Eagles could find a way. But as I said, my money was on Mahomes to figure it out. And he did just that. And going on to beat the Eagles 38-35 in the Super Bowl 57 that we just witnessed last weekend. It was a very impressive performance by him and that whole team. He fought through injuries. I thought he was going to be out after the first quarter. He went and scrambled early on in the game, got tackled, and couldn't even barely even walk after that. There were memes after that for various reasons, and as on the sideline and pain and all of that. But he toughed it out. They did whatever they got to do to get him back on his feet, and he willed himself and that team to victory. So definitely a very impressive performance. And yeah, as I said, we're going to stick with him first. Alec, what do you think of his performance before we get into our main question?
Well, first, real quick, a question I thought of: How was Mr. Thomas in reaction to that Super Bowl? How was he feeling?
he was on the couch, just sitting there, just like this.
Yeah,
and on the hour after the game, he just belief, man. Because couldn't even speak. The way that game ended, the opportunities were there. The late flag that's been discussed heavily, and all of that. Definitely was a sad moment for Eagles fans all over. So definitely he was very hurt by that, and it was what it was. But I cashed out, so it is what it is. Whatever.
You got the priorities in order.
Let's keep the main thing the main thing.
All right. Well, to answer to your question about Mahomes, I thought he put on a masterclass in that game. He didn't have like the crazy eye-popping stat line as far as the passing yards. I think he had about 180, but he had the 3 touchdowns. He had the 21 for 27 completions. He was like 14 of 15 in the second half. The only incompletion was a throwaway intentionally.
Right.
They put on a complete masterclass between him and Andy Reid and Bieniemy, the play calling. They were carving up that Eagles defense, which the secondary was one of the best, if not the best in the league all season. So it was a very impressive display from the Chiefs, especially offensively. And Mahomes cemented himself in that top 5, top 3, top 2 discussion. So.
Yeah, definitely one of the greatest all time. As we already said, easily the most talented quarterback we've ever seen. Now it's continuing to add accolades to it to prove himself to be the GOAT, as many are now stamping him to be. Definitely glad to see his continued rise. Love to see his dad saying he's smoking that Philly pack after the game and seeing all of that. Seeing more of him has been great during this playoff run and all that's going on with that family and the Kelce's as well and all that's going on there too. So good things with all the Chiefs. And now to our main question. Seeing how impressive that this team has been, seeing the dynamic duo between Mahomes and Kelce, also the I guess dynamic duo between Mahomes and Coach Reid. Do you think that duo can erase the greatness that once was between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
It's hard to erase 7 Super Bowl wins. I don't think anyone can erase that. Even if he were to get 8, you're still going to be talking about Brady having that 7 before him.
Sure.
8 would be nuts, by the way. If he somehow surpasses him,
he's on track.
He is. Yeah, what's he about 26, 27 right now?
27.
Okay, and he's got 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. He's on a good pace right now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can erase Brady and Belichick, but I do think, in a way, like you can pass him up easily. I think he's already on the trajectory. I don't think he needs 7 or 8 to pass him either. Based on the eye test, I believe most people see him as the most talented quarterback we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's already building the resume very early in his career. He's already a first ballot Hall of Famer right now. I think a couple more rings, and we're talking about him as the GOAT. So yeah, in a way, it may erase Brady's legacy a little bit, but you can't erase those Super Bowl rings. That's why you play to win the game for sure.
Understood. To your point, I think many people already have Stanton, as you said, as greatest quarterback we ever watched in regards to talent. So now, as we also pointed out, just can rack up the accolades. I think it's very possible that. Yeah, I think Tom, they're already trying to write him from the books as they are saying how great Pat is. So yeah, I think it's very possible that all the greatness that once was between Tom and Bill, Reid and Mahomes.
Hey, Kelsey's there. He's a major part of it as well.
Absolutely. Kelsey is absolutely a part of that. But just talking about the coach and QB combo there, definitely those two will be stamped as the top dogs amongst them all. I'm sure if they continue on this run. So, yeah, very excited for that. Do you see any deterrents that could potentially slow them down in the near future? Do you see any teams on the rise that could stop Mahomes from getting 4, 5, 6 in the near future?
I think it would be more about them.
Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
3, 4, 5. I already gave him the third one. He didn't get the third one yet. He has to get the.
I know.
He already feels like he has
I wish he had that third one. But yeah, I think it would honestly be more about the Chiefs getting in their own way than another team preventing them from getting it. I think they've showed between Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid, Bieniemy, Spagnuolo, and how they elevate the defense in the playoffs, that they've got a formula that you really can't touch. People have kind of been shitting on the Chiefs for like this fake underdog mentality, but preseason people were saying the Chiefs might not make the playoffs.
Correct.
The Chiefs aren't going to win the AFC West,
right?
And they proved everybody wrong. So I understand why they're talking their shit now.
I think even heading into this playoffs, when we did our playoff prediction, we both picked the Bengals.
Right, so, I had them in the AFC Championship, but I had the Bengals. Yeah, so
right. So yeah, they have every right to feel disrespected and as underdogs and all of that. So I'm fine with it, and I'm shutting up. Y'all got me. I'm fine.
But yeah, I think the AFC is the more challenging conference, no doubt. And I think even their division will be better next year. I think the Chargers will be a little bit better, but they have a tendency to get in their own way, as we've seen for years.
Correct.
I think the Broncos will be better with Sean Payton, but we don't know how much better. The Raiders, if they somehow get Aaron Rodgers, that makes them interesting, but you still favor the Chiefs in all those matchups.
Yeah.
And then you got the Bills probably being good, but they get in their own way too.
Yeah.
The Bengals are probably the biggest threat to them still. If they maintain much of the current structure, I know they're going to probably have to pay some guys, so they might not retain everybody. But I think the Bengals are the closest to it right now.
I'm going to say this, yes, as a homer, but also seeing what we saw in the playoffs, I still think the Ravens put up a good fight. If they can just get Lamar.
If you retain Lamar and he's healthy,
yes. Lamar there with that defense that would have beat that could have beat. I know it's the would have, should have, could have.
Yeah,
that team was right there with the Bengals and could have beat them. If they could put up just as good of a fight as the Bengals did versus the Chiefs in that game, and then who knows from there. So yeah, I think if the Ravens figure out their situation, they still have yet to sign Lamar. It's a whole other video we can make later on. But I think of any of the threats, I think the Ravens surely are right there as well. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's crazy how you point out to begin that point how dominant how grand the AFC has become, and the Chiefs are still ahead above of all of them. So yeah, it's very impressive about them and how they continue to dominate in their way. And yeah, I'm excited to see how they continue to stay atop this rising conference. So yeah, great stuff from them. Great stuff there. Anything else in regards to Mahomes you want to talk about real quick?
Nah, I don't think so. But I just cemented top 2, I think.
Cemented top 2 and surely on his way as he continues to rise. Flipping side, someone else who we had questions about, who continue to put great performances up all place season long and postseason long. Jalen Hurts definitely proved that he shouldn't be doubted as many people did throughout the season. And yeah, had a great performance in the Super Bowl as well, though even in defeat. So you talk about Mahomes being cemented as a top 2 all-time quarterback and all of that. People weren't even sure if Hurts was going to be a long-term option for the Eagles team, but has proved all those doubters wrong. So now has Jalen cemented himself as an elite QB, not only for the Eagles, but across the league.
Yeah, I think I had my reservations about whether or not he could do it on the big stage as well as the first 2 playoff games. They really didn't need him to do much. But he, to me, in my eyes, he proved to me that he is an elite QB and can be the number 1 guy of your franchise to win you a Super Bowl. I think they were a few plays away. Yes, I do think his fumble is a large reason why they did end up losing, but I wouldn't put the blame on the loss solely on him. I think he played a phenomenal game.
Outside of that fumble, numbers-wise, he had the better game than Mahomes.
He did.
He ran for more touchdowns. He threw
300 yards passing, close to 100 rushing. I think
so. He definitely was impressive in that. When games like that, as great as that is, the one turnover can be the deciding factor, and that's what it was. So be it.
It was a tough one because that's a game changer with the scoop and score, giving away 7 like that. But yeah, I thought he was phenomenal. He was, by comparison, by stats, he was the better quarterback in this matchup. And I think he's proven throughout the regular season that he can put up dominant numbers throughout the year. He was top 2 in that MVP voting. And he proved now on the biggest stage that he can hang with anybody. He can hang with the best QB that we've seen in years, maybe ever. So yeah, I think it should be clear to everyone at this point. It wasn't like he was just doing it with his legs. Like he threw for 300 as well too.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think he's cemented as an elite QB in this league.
I agree. I want to salute him because, as we said, there were doubts about him. We had our QB rankings we were doing throughout the season, and they were, I think, most of the year he stayed around that top 10 or within that throughout it all. So, yeah, he definitely proved that he deserves to be in that conversation. And yeah, I'm excited to see what's next for him. Again, just looking at it, I'm also glad that I guess saluting that management over there that saw the talent that he had and understood that if they put pieces around him, that things could truly be special. So seeing that they got AJ Brown, seeing the development of Devontae Smith, and
take notes, Baltimore.
Take notes, as I've been saying. I mean, they laid the full blueprint for the Ravens right there. Like you have the quarterback, give him some pieces, and everything else will flow as it needs to. So yeah, I want going back to Philly. Yeah, just saluting them all around for what they put together there. There were doubts about Sirianni heading into all of it. His introduction press conference wasn't the greatest. People still joke to this day he was crying before the national anthem and all that kind of stuff.
That was funny.
So he definitely has a different type of personality, but in time for football, he handles business. So yeah, salute to all of them for what they've done over there, and yeah, excited to see what's next.
The defensive coordinator, right, is the one who got hired as the Arizona Cardinals head coach.
I thought that was the OC. Was it?
Was the OC?
I thought it was.
I thought it was the defense because I thought that's why people had questions about it because the defense kind of got carved up in that game.
Well, when he got hired, he thanked all of the offensive guys. Yeah.
Okay, it's the OC.
He Philadelphia's offensive OC. He was the OC.
Okay, OC. Okay. Well, yeah, salute to him. I mean, their offense was one of the better ones. Obviously, they had like the best offensive line in the league all the year. But yeah, they were a well-oiled machine pretty much all year. With Hurts at the helm, that helps. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all we wanted to say. Giving props to all of them. Again, we definitely enjoyed what we saw from both sides. Definitely enjoyed all of the things that went into it and what has resulted both in the trash talk that we see online with the Juju situation and all of that and all kind of things that's going on. It's been fun. I like the energy kind of going all around this last game and where we're headed next season as well. So good stuff for both of them. Any last NFL note?
Any last NFL note?
Or Super Bowl note between the two of them? I'll throw one out for you.
Which team you think is more likely to get back, like next year?
Eagles have the easier route.
Yeah,
but the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. So
yeah, right, exactly.
They can retool pretty easily, and get right back there with things continuing to fall their way. So I think they'll both be right in the conversation.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a woulda, coulda, shoulda, but I think the 49ers with the healthy QB might get past the Eagles, to be honest.
That's fine too.
I think they were definitely the top two in the NFC. Like no disrespect to the Eagles. I think they deserve to be there. But yeah, I think it's really between them two, like in the NFC. Even next year, obviously some pieces will be moved, some acquisitions will be made. So we'll see how things shake out. But I think they're still like the two front runners in the conference right now.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. So yeah, definitely exciting things to go into. We have plenty more things to talk about all offseason long, and we'll touch all bases in that regard. So great things go on with the rest of the things in the NFL. I'm excited to get back to you guys with more NBA stuff on the way. The last thing I want to throw out to you, I sorry for stretching things out, but who would you want the next Super Bowl performer to be?
As we talked about in our little group chat, I really like the idea of Gambino. Like I think that would be a dope. I think that would be a dope Super Bowl performance. And I think he'd have like crossover appeal between the different demographics as well. Atlanta just ended, so he may not be as hot by then, but he might drop another album at some point too, which could help.
He was. At times, you don't realize how big he is, but that could be possible.
Yeah.
Someone, and he does have, does he have, he has hits. I'm not denying that.
Oh, absolutely.
What am I trying to say?
I think he I
don't know.
Maybe he doesn't have like a 20 song hit list of like.
This ain't versus. We don't need 20 songs. We need 13 minutes.
But I'm saying, I think like you could put together a solid 10, like from him, 10 to 15 from him. That could make a good set.
That's all you need. So that's very possible.
Everybody loves Redbone. So
yeah, I don't necessarily know if he fits the Vegas aesthetic. So that could be a little different.
That's true.
But it's very possible. I like that. There's been a lot of talk about Usher being the Super Bowl guy next year. He has residency out there and all kinds of stuff. So he fit right in. I think he has plenty of hits on and whatever genre you want to pull from to do so. So I'd love to see that one. And the last one, who we joke about at times, that I am a fan of still, Doja Cat, I think, could put up a good set. She has a great show. She's supposed to be the great shows.
Nope.
She has enough songs already to do so. She can pull some guests as well. That'd be entertaining. I think that works.
I don't need the social chat room guys on stage, man. I don't need the white supremacists on stage, man.
You got me there. I ain't gonna argue with you, but yeah, we shall see. Definitely fun stuff. But yeah, that's all we had today. We'll have more NBA stuff on the way. Appreciate y'all for tuning back in. Subscribe to this show. Follow us online everywhere. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Deuces.